Hey guys! So, this is our first episode of Hometown Hustlers, and today we're going to focus on the mortgage industry and the industry that I know best, real estate. We're going to talk to Howie Coleman. He's a native of Blanchester, Ohio, my hometown, and he's been in the mortgage business for 33 years. So, he knows his stuff. We're going to talk to him about current trends, past trends, where he sees the mortgage industry going. He's going to give you some information and some advice as buyers as well as sellers. He's also going to talk to the process a little bit, how he does things, how he is successful, why he is successful, and then he's going to touch some on his personal goals. So stick around because it's going to be great. All right. So this morning we have Howie with us. So we have a couple questions for Howie. And first of all, Howie, what motivated you to become a mortgage banker?
Well, I grew up in the car business, which is the business my family was in, and I had friends that were in the mortgage business that tried to get me to get in it for years. And of all things, I happened to be in the car business when the Gulf War started. When the Gulf War started, the United States was at war for the first time in years, and people didn't know what that meant. And nobody, and I mean nobody, was buying any cars. And after sitting at the dealership for weeks without talking to a customer, I said, maybe it's finally time to talk to my buddy that does mortgages. And I did, and started in the mortgage business.
Oh, wow. That's pretty interesting. So can you tell us some of the differences in the different types of mortgage companies and businesses?
Well, we started out as a mortgage broker, and we've always pushed them that the advantages of the broker were that they can choose between multiple sources. And that part of it is true, but we, about 15 years ago, joined forces with a few other brokers and became an actual mortgage bank. The advantage of being a mortgage bank is that we really have all the advantages that everybody has. We have the multiple sources that a broker has, but then we have some real big advantages they don't, which is that we underwrite the loans, we close the loans, we fund the loans, and we even service many of the loans. So we have that control that a bank has, but we still have the advantage of choosing. We can sell to Fannie or Freddie or HUD, Ginnie Mae, or other Fannie and Freddie investors. So we have the advantages of a broker, but we have all the advantages of a lender and a bank because we are the lender. So we are a mortgage banker, and that has proved to be a big advantage for us since we became that.
Oh, okay. That's really good explanation. Thank you for that. So what current trends do you see in the mortgage market, and how do you think they will affect home buyers and people like myself, real estate professionals?
Well, you've been doing real estate for a while, so the one thing you know about real estate is that it is a roller coaster. It's always been a roller coaster, and it'll always be a roller coaster because influences from outside the real estate market can dramatically change you and I's jobs, seemingly almost overnight, to something completely different than what they were a year ago. You know, just a couple of years ago, all the realtors and all the mortgage people had more business than they could handle. They didn't know what to do with all of it. And we were pushing to our agents, you know, we try to help our referral partners make more business and get more clients. 3 or 4 years ago, they didn't care about that because they had all they could handle. We've come full circle now to where one survey recently said as many as 50% of the agents won't renew their license this year, or many of them already haven't because they don't have any business. So now you wonder if we had started that relationship 4 years ago and we had some clients closed and we were doing that marketing and we were giving you back 2 or 3 loans a year, would that have made the difference? Would you still be able, you know, to do this full time or whatever? But that just shows just how dramatically our business can change in just from 1 year to the next. And it's always been that way. We see dramatic cycles of I lived through the mortgage. I've been in the business 33 years. I made it through the mortgage crisis 15 years ago when it was the exact opposite of what it is now. If you had a listing, you didn't really have much of anything because it might sit for 6 months and you might be lucky to get one offer that was 20% less than the price you asked for it. We've come full circle now to where a listing is the easiest, and just saying, a listing is the easiest money a realtor can make because they list a property. And while you want to sell it, because if you have a buyer, you get both halves. If you list it, it's going to sell. If it's priced reasonably and will pass whatever necessary inspections, it's going to sell without you doing any more work, more than likely. And so back then, if you had a listing, it might sit for 6 months, but if you had a buyer, you had the golden goose because they could go out and buy so easily. They could cherry pick which home they wanted. They could buy it for under the listing price. It's the exact opposite of that now. People fall in love with a home and offer over asking price and still get outbid. I've got people that have been trying to buy a home for a year, have made multiple offers. I can't even tell you how many pre-approval letters I've sent. They still don't have a home. It's become a competition to buy. The rates going up affected that dramatically. And what it did was took a lot of buyers out of the market because a buyer that was pre-approved at 3% and even 4%, when they hit 7 and above, no longer qualified to buy a home that they want to buy. Or they had to adjust their sites so much between what they could get for their money that they weren't interested anymore. So that's another thing that will change for you and I moving forward is that while we've hit a little bit of a blip in this last week, the trend overall for the next year will be that rates will be going down. And they're estimating that it could dump as much as 20% more buyers back into the market once rates hit the solid, say, mid fives, because all those people who said, we're not buying a home at 7%, they're going to get back in the market. So that's just going to make it even worse. It's going to drive prices up, more competition for each home. And that answers one of the big questions a lot of consumers are asking now, which is, should I wait? The answer is no. If you wait, you're going to pay more. It's that simple. Oh, but when rates come down, no, with that much more competition, it'll drive prices up. If you buy now, you can refi when rates hit 5 for whatever you paid now. If you wait till the price goes up another 10 or 15% because rates are down, you're going to get that 5, but you're going to pay more. So the people that are waiting, if they can buy now, it would be better to buy now. But again, that's another thing that as rates drop, it's going to again change our market again. So the one thing you can always say about real estate is it's constantly changing.
Yeah, that's for sure. And a lot of people don't realize all the effects that one thing has on everything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything affects everything. A little rate drop affects how many buyers are in the market. A rate drop or an increase in rates affects how many buyers are in the market. It affects what they're willing to pay. I've had people point blank tell me, I would offer 10 grand more for this house, but the rate's so high, I can't afford it. So the rate influenced not only whether they were interested in making an offer, but what the offer was.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So yes, everything influences everything.
Definitely a roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster. One of the things that I actually heard from a financial planner and have agreed with the whole time I've been in the business is that if you've never owned a home and you want to prepare to buy a home, you should talk to your mortgage professional 6 to 12 months before you think you're ready to buy. Now, traditionally, what happens is they drive by a house that they've always liked and see a for sale sign in the yard and decide they're ready to buy. They haven't prepared at all. They haven't talked to a mortgage person. They don't know if they're really ready to buy a home. They just know, there's the home we've always liked. Let's see if we can buy it. And many times it's the smallest things or just one little thing or two that they need to do to be better prepared to buy a home that if you'd had even a couple months advance notice, you could have prepared. and that home goes on the market and you find out there's one little thing on your credit that's not even right, but you got to fix it before you qualify, or there's one little debt ratio issue that you can fix, but it's going to take you a couple months. So you're not quite ready. And so you miss out when, if you talk to someone ahead of time, you can make sure you're ready when the time comes. That's the biggest piece of advice I could give to first-time homeowners is don't wait till you think you're ready to buy. Talk to me months before you're ready so that we can make sure you're ready.
Yeah, you definitely want to be ready in this market for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you say to like someone that's watching this that's thinking, hey, I want to be a mortgage officer? What would you say to them?
Well, the challenges of our business are what we discussed a minute ago, which is that it's constantly changing. If someone younger wanted to get into this business, then it is similar to the same thing you would say to someone younger who wanted to be a realtor, which is if you have a strong base of friends that are in that prime first-time home buyers range, that's who you go to do whatever marketing you want to do, because this is the reason we have such a housing shortage now. After 10 years of building the lowest number of new homes at any time since the Depression, because of the mortgage crisis, nobody was buying homes, so they stopped building them, right? We are now running a 10-year stretch where we're dumping more prime age first-time buyers into the market than at any time in history. Those two things don't go well together. You had 10 years where you weren't building hardly any new homes. Now you've got a 10-year stretch where you're going to have more 28-year-olds, which is the 28 to 33 is the prime, the most common first-time buyer age. We've got a 10-year stretch where we're dumping more 28-year-olds into the market than at any time in history. And it's happening only about 10 years after the mortgage crisis ended, where we built less new homes than any time since the Depression. So that's why there's a shortage. That also answers the question, well, I'll just wait till the prices come down because surely this can't go on forever. They're going to crash. When there's this much demand, there's not going to be a crash. If there would have been a crash, it would have been when rates went over 7% for almost 2 years. Didn't happen, did it? There's no crash because there's too many buyers. So that will continue to drive prices up. And that's discouraging for first-time home buyers who say houses are too expensive. And I agree, it's discouraging, but it's not going to change. You need to prepare that's the way it's going to be. And the market's going to continue to go up. And it's all driven by the just sheer number of buyers.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Let's see. So I think I had another couple questions for you here. So here's a good one. With the Facebook and everybody being on Facebook and Instagram, and we know it's kind of a challenge for us older folk, but how has technology changed the way you do business? And what tools do you find most beneficial?
Technology changes everything. One of the biggest changes it's made is that the younger generation relies so heavily on technology because that's what they've always had, that they tend to do business in a different way than my generation. We wanted to do face-to-face. I want to talk to an expert. The younger generation tends to want to go online and with their phone and click a button and have it delivered to their door. The problem is you're not buying paper towels. You're not buying, coffee, and you're not clicking the button and Amazon puts it on your porch. This is a service. What we do, the service is the most important thing. You can shop rates, but if 5 lenders give you the same rate, I can promise you that the experience would be different if you chose all 5, even though you ended up with a 30-year fixed rate at 7% or 6% or whatever, because it's a service. And we have always gone overboard. The motto of our company is to change the lives of families. We do what's right. We spend the extra time to find out which loan's the best option. Whether it's more work for us or not doesn't matter. I've had clients come to me and still in this day and age have banks telling them, yeah, you need 10% down. And it's just because they want to do conventional or nothing. They don't care that this guy's a veteran or that guy already has 5% to put down. So he could easily go FHA, maybe USDA, and definitely conventional, and maybe the community home buyer program. They want to do what's easy for them. And maybe it's because they don't have the expertise to do that other program, so they don't want to mess with it. We take so much specialized training, and I have for years, that you see on every email I send you. I'm a certified VA expert. I'm a certified USDA expert. I'm not going to push you down a road that's easier for me because I'm afraid of that program because it's harder for us as a lender. We specialize in doing those because we want to do what's right for the buyer. The VA loan's the best loan that you could get, and it should be. A veteran should get a better loan than anybody else, but you should be an expert at doing them because the veteran deserves better service too, not just that good loan. They deserve to be taken care of the right way on that loan. And we've always pushed that service is everything. So you have a younger generation that tends to say, oh, I'll do just Rocket Mortgage because it's on my phone. Or, the other big boys that it's just, you click a button. They don't get asked these questions that I might spend hours asking and finding out what's right for them and saying, well, if you just prepare this way, we can get you in a much better loan for you, much better for your family. It's going to make much easier, maybe much quicker because you don't have to save that down payment, and even be cheaper for you. But it's all, the expertise comes into doing what's right for people, because if you know everything, you know all the programs, you know the ins and outs of every one, and you know what to look for, and you know how to get those loans done that others lenders can't do, then you have the ability to do what's best for them instead of just whatever's easy for you. So we use technology as much as anybody, but you need the personal service to go with the technology. We have an app for both our realtors and our borrowers that does everything from calculate payments if they're looking at a property and say, hey, wonder what that will cost. And I can't just keep calling Howie every 12 minutes when I see a house to say, what's the payment on this one? We got an app that does that. And we got an app on your phone that you can apply online. So we have all the technology those people have. So you still get the technology, but you get the professional too. That we think is the perfect balance because you get the advantage of one and the advantage of the other.
Yeah, that is free. And you do answer your phone a lot, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah, much to my wife's chagrin. I answered calls from the beach at Myrtle, and you can't, we are human beings.
Right.
I literally lost a deal because a client I'd been working with for a year, their agent who knew they were working with me told them at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, I need a pre-approval letter within an hour. And my client said, Howie's in church on Sunday mornings, because Howie is on church on Sunday mornings every Sunday. Well, the realtor said, well, then you need to call my guy and get a pre-approval letter. And I lost a $400,000 deal that had been a client that I'd been working with for a year and sent this agent probably 10 pre-approval letters because she convinced them they needed a pre-approval letter right now. And then the next day when they got that house said, well, you need to use him because he sent you the pre-approval letter. I'm like, wait a minute. I've sent you 10 pre-approval letters and those are my friends, and you're still, and they did. But so we can't answer the phone every time it rings. The other night was out doing leaves for 3 hours and didn't return a realtor's message for 3 hours. Said, sorry, I've been out in the yard working on leaves all night. But
yeah, we understand.
Do my best to answer what I can. So
you do a good job of that.
Yeah. But that's another thing that goes with that technology. That button might answer your question immediately, but does it really ask you the questions to give you the right answer every time?
Is it right?
Right. Yeah, I might be out working in my yard, or I might be out on my kayak, or I might be at church. But when I answer a couple hours later, I'll ask the questions to give you the right answer.
That's definitely appreciated for sure. So I do have one final question for you. What are your personal and professional goals for the next few years, and how do you plan to achieve them?
Well, I've been doing this for a long time. I have always made it my goal to be the best at what I do. Whenever there's optional classes for expertise in a particular area, I always take them. I want to provide better service than anybody else. Um, Moving forward, I am going to use the media that you have mentioned and for marketing a bit more. I plan to have some fun with some of that and to use Facebook and LinkedIn and whatever else we need to use, the technology of the apps that we have that are available to the client to push some of that stuff more to the realtors so they can take advantage of it, and hope to just build up a few more good agent referral partners by showing them what we do to help them make more business. We've always tried to separate ourselves from, like I said a few minutes ago, you can be an agent who says, I'm going to refer you deals and you get them done, and that's our relationship. We've always said, no, we can do way more for you than that. We try to give our realtors market updates to let them know when the market's coming. We try to do all kinds of specialized training. Do you know we do social media training for our agents? You do because you've taken it. We will train you. Yes, we'll train our agents how to use Facebook better to get more business, or any other of the marketing platforms. We'll train you how to use the app so that you can do your own pre-approval letters. So if you know on 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, Howie's in church and I need a pre-approval letter, you can go in and do it yourself. We're trying to make it easier for you and to truly increase the business of our referral partners. Like I said, 4 years ago, when agents had more business than they could handle, nobody really cared that, hey, if I close deals for you for a couple of years, we're going to market them. We're going to teach you how to market them. We're going to give you tools to market them. And between the two of us, we're going to increase your business down the road by getting referrals from those people. Nobody cared about that because they had more business than they could handle anyway. Moving forward, I think they're going to start to care about it more because now everybody doesn't have more business than they can handle. And we're going to continue to increase the tools we have to help you make more money and to help you take better care of your clients. And so moving forward, I hope to establish a few more relationships with referral partners. I hope to continue to give business back to my referral partners to prove the extra value that we offer that other people don't, and to make those referral partnerships successful in that we both truly feel vested in each other's business. I'm not a give me your business and I'll get it done loan officer. I'm a how can I help you increase your business loan officer? And yes, the first step of that is get your deals done. But what can I do to get you more deals? That's the focus of our company and myself. And I think that'll separate us again now that there's not so much business, people can't handle it.
That's really good. Well, it's definitely been a pleasure talking to you. We've learned a lot today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll be back on here soon.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.